Welcome to Hollywood Astrology. I'm your host, David Palmer, the Leo King, and this is Astro Buzz, where I take the astrology and I combine it with all the news of today, politics, celebrity gossip, and show what's going on, especially right now in the world. This is the week of June 4th through the 10th. We are in some really crazy times. There's so much happening in the skies, and let's start with the politics first. I know everybody wants to know what in the hell is going on with these three candidates. Most people out there hate all three. So let's talk about why. Of course, who are we going to start with first? Donald Trump. Now, he's a Gemini, if you didn't know. He was born with a full moon, by the way. So anybody born on a full moon is already crazy. Woo, woo. But you know what's even more interesting about Donald Trump? It was a lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse full moon personality is extreme. He was also born with the planet Mars on top of his rising sign in Leo. So that's that pompous, kind of really strong attitude, warrior mentality. And you know what's interesting about him is you never know where he's gonna go. Whenever you have a full moon in Gemini or in Sagittarius, you never know where they're gonna go. They're all over the place kind of people. There's not a lot of focus. He's also born with the sun and the planet Uranus conjunct, which means he's really crazy and unpredictable, but it makes him very unique. It makes him very genius and very smart. But I think it's very hard for people to understand him because with Gemini Sagittarius, you never know what you're gonna get. It literally is a circus show. He is a royal circus show. At least it's not like a crazy like flea market. The thing about him, that's the thing about Donald Trump. He's not a flea market, but he is kind of this royal circus. And you don't know which direction he's gonna punch. And with Mars on his ascendant, he's very strong and powerful. Hillary, on the other hand, she's a double Scorpio. A lot of hidden stuff there, right? Scorpios like to hide secrets. They're very intense, and she's very focused. She was born with Mars and Saturn conjunct. The thing about Hillary, though, is you just don't know what's really going on. She's got that, double Scorpio aspect. Some people don't know her exact time of birth, so even if we erase her exact time of birth, the whole thing about Hillary is she does have Mercury in Scorpio, she does have Venus in Scorpio, she has a Sun in Scorpio. And there's all this energy about her where you just don't know what you're gonna get. And she's really focused on her heart and she will literally do anything. She's got Mars, Saturn, and Pluto all in the same energy. And you know what? When people have Mars, Saturn, and Pluto in the same sign and the same energy in the same house, you know what it is? Extreme, do whatever you will get to get there. Now, Donald Trump kind of has that too. He's a warrior, he'll play ball, but he doesn't have the focus to play the same way that Hillary does. Hillary will do anything to get there. You know what's funny? I don't know if any of you guys watch the show House of Cards. That whole show is kind of playing like the Hillary Bill story in a weird way. Now, Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, really interesting personality. He's got a moon in Aries and he's a Virgo, which is already a little bit weird. And where the planets are right now, they're actually hitting this guy's moon, all right? So he's angry as hell. He was also born with Mars on the moon, so I don't know. It's so funny how he's got this whole hippity vibe, but the truth is, man, when that guy is pumped up and angry, he is angry. And with Uranus here, he is having it's like he has been constipated for 75 years and it's finally being released and we're seeing it all. It's like this guy has needed to let go of a lot of anger for a long time. And it's just really intense for him with the anger. Other aspect that's interesting to me about Bernie is he does have this energy in Virgo that's right in the middle of a lot of pressure. So there's too much pressure for him to get through this. And so I honestly don't see Bernie Sanders making it to the last round of becoming president. He's just not well aligned enough. So Bernie, sorry, take your Maalox, or your Mylox, because literally, I think this was a good way for you to release a lot of your shit, believe it or not, because I think there's been a lot of pent-up anger with him for so long, and we're seeing it come out. But this has been good for him to become a leader. This has been good for him to kind of get to the specifics. He's a Virgo, he knows all the numbers. He's waving that little finger, where everything's going. But he's doing it while he's on the toilet, letting out a lot of pent-up hard emotions and anger and so forth. If I were to see who the winner is, I'm not going to give you that one yet. Jeez, you think I'm just going to give it all away? I will say this, though. On election night in November, Saturn will be at the 21, 22 degree position it'll be coming to this position of Sagittarius. It'll be close. It won't be exact, but it'll be close. And the reason why I say this is both the moon of Donald Trump and the moon of Hillary Clinton are going to be aspected. Donald Trump was born at the moon at 22 degrees and 21 degrees of Sagittarius. Hillary Clinton was born with the moon at 21, 22 degrees of Pisces. They both square each other. They both have different emotions. And I got to say this, they're both going to be hardly aspected, which means a very difficult emotional thing. These two are going to go through the biggest battle, and they are literally going to emotionally be shredded. Now, this is the difficult part for Hillary. She's got a moon in Pisces. She's sensitive. She has an underbelly which Donald Trump can punch. Where Donald Trump is going to have to watch out is he's not going to know where Hillary's coming from, because she is doing things in secret behind back doors where Donald Trump doesn't have the secret aspect very well. You might actually think Donald Trump does, but Donald Trump actually is just so ADD, distracted in other things, that she can sneak up on him at any moment's notice. So those are the three candidates. Interesting to see their astrology and how they're doing. You got the circus show, you got the creepy girl who's going to creep behind the corner and, like, you know, trip you out, and then you got the guy who definitely needs some Pepto-Bismol. So it's kind of interesting to see these three candidates. Find out more here on Astro Buzz on the next segment. I'll see you in a second. Want the most inspiring, fun, and dynamic horoscopes delivered to your phone every day? And we do it all on video with text message notifications. Download and subscribe to the Leo King app now and wake up to astrology like you've never seen before. Welcome back to Astro Buzz on Hollywood Astrology. I'm your host, David Palmer, the Leo King. Let's move to celebrity news now. First of all, I want to say a big, blessing and let's send a good energy out there to Muhammad Ali. If you didn't know, he is a Leo rising with a sun in Capricorn. He was a powerhouse of energy. He had a really bright and exciting and youthful Leo rising persona. A lot actually kind of like Donald Trump, believe it or not. And there's a lot of other Leo risings. Johnny Depp, wait, we're going to talk about him in a second. But what's weird is underneath he is that Capricorn. But I just want to say that this man was a powerhouse of energy. If you look at his chart, he really knew exactly what to do and how to get there, and he didn't let anybody phase him. And that's what made him so strong and made him such a great leader and such a great man. And so my condolences to his family and everybody out there as we honor Muhammad Ali. Now, moving to this whole Gwen Stafani breakup, or not breakup, but the denial of marriage to Blake Shelton. I'm going to break it down for you right now, everybody. First of all, Blake, you're a pussy. No, I'm just kidding. Just a little bit, though. Gwen Stafani is she's a Libra, so she's beautiful and she's got that all, but she's got a Scorpio rising, man. She stings. And the other part about this is her chart has gone through a lot of hell, okay? Her moon is in Cancer, and this means her whole emotional family situation got disrupted in 2014 and 15, got ripped apart. She's got a lot of PTSD emotionally going about family, and so she's also a Scorpio rising, and this is where Mars is at. She's really redefining herself. And when you look at Blake Shelton's chart, he's a Gemini with Sun and Venus with a moon in Pisces. He's a little bit too nice guy on the corner. She's a little bit too intense, passionate, and I'll be honest, I think they might have had some great sex, but at the end of the day, I don't think that he's able to give her all the orgasms that she needs. I'm just gonna say it right here. He's too soft. He's just, singing country songs probably to her in the bathroom, and she's looking around going, what the fuck? Literally. Because when you look at her chart, she's got Venus in Virgo. That means she is extremely picky. And I guarantee you, she has picked up on all of his weird, quirky Gemini, weird little masks, weird little stuff. And he's a Sun-Venus guy. That means he's more feminine than he is masculine, believe it or not. And because she's a Libra with a Scorpio rising, it makes her a little bit more masculine, a little bit more intense. Even though she does have that caring moon, if you notice, she cares so much about people. But you know what's so funny is he's too sensitive. She at least might care, but she's strong. And she also has another, she's a Scorpio rising, so you don't know exactly how she really is. She doesn't put herself out there fully the way that you think she would. And I think she's starting to see that he's a little bit too much of a nice guy around the block. She needs edge, and I don't think that he offers the edge that she really needs. And you know, let's talk about Johnny Depp now. Johnny freaking Depp. I love the guy. He is a Gemini, Leo rising. This makes him really crazy, fun, and exciting and positive. But he's been accused of beating his now ex-wife, who Amanda Heard, right? She's a Taurus, by the way. And she's more stable and chill, and he's a nutcase, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, Donald Trump as well is a Gemini with a Leo rising. And you know what's so funny is Johnny Depp just recently played Donald Trump in a whole entire segment. So I think it's funny because they're actually the same exact energy. But what's funny about him is he's born with Mars and Uranus in the exact same spot. That means he's really unpredictable with his strength, really unpredictable with his masculinity, really unpredictable with his anger. It just comes out of nowhere. So you got to be careful with him because you don't know how he's going to punch you, and he's going to punch you at the weirdest spot. So I don't want to talk shit on him, but he does have Mercury and Venus conjunct Taurus. He is somebody with the moon in Capricorn that's been hard. He's emotionally, I think, controlling, and he really, I hate to be honest, based off the astrology, I believe this actually did go down. And I think that he's learning to control his emotions better instead of use control on people, if that makes sense. And the other aspect is I think he's learning, especially as Jupiter has passed over, and I think this all started actually about 6-7 months ago when Jupiter came into Virgo and passed this Mars-Uranus. I think he's learning to use this crazy, exciting, rebellious power that he has, but in the right way. And I think that he's almost maybe lost. I think he's bored with movies. I think he's bored with playing characters. I think he's actually acting this out in his own life now to make it stimulating enough. He needs the stimulation. And I think, unfortunately, he took it out on his wife. And she was kind of cute, you know, but, you know, he could do better. But I don't know if anybody's going to want him for a while. He's got a lot of cleanup to do. We'll see how this goes. And when we come to politics, I got 2 more things to say. But before we do, we're going to take a quick break here on Astro Buzz. Want the most inspiring, fun, and dynamic horoscopes delivered to your phone every day? And we do it all on video with text message notifications. Download and subscribe to the Leo King app now and wake up to astrology like you've never seen before. Welcome back to Astro Buzz on Hollywood Astrology. I am David Palmer, the Leo King, your astrologer, talking about the stars and how they affect different stars too as well. We're going to end this segment today about politics, Elizabeth Warren, and Barack Obama. But you know, let's start with Elizabeth Warren first. She's coming out supporting Hillary now. Whoa, yeah. And she's really against Trump, right? But you know what? I've done some investigation with the astrology. Elizabeth Warren and Trump literally are twins. You know what's so funny is how much they hate each other is so funny because they're actually so alike. They both were born with the Sun and Uranus conjunct. Okay? So that means they both are unpredictable. They both are crazy. And it's so funny that they both talk crap on each other, even though they both are talking crap on each other literally to each other. Like, she's talking about him in a way like how crazy he is and neurotic. She's crazy and neurotic. He's talking about her and how she's crazy and neurotic. He's crazy and neurotic. So I think it's funny. I just got to say that they both are actually twins. Second of all, she has Venus at a very tough degree in Cancer right now. This means that in relationships, she's about to go through some really hard times and some really hard aspects over the next year. The other aspect is she was born with Mercury and Mars conjunct, which means she's a vocal brute. She's like a dog that barks. And then you got, Trump, right? Who, he doesn't bark with his mouth. You'd think he would. He actually has Mercury in Cancer, so he's actually a little bit more like, I guess you could say it depends on his mood of how he emotionally is. He's kind of like a wimpy dog in a way of how he communicates. Like, I don't know if I should say this, but she's much more Mercury and Mars just makes for a barking dog. But you know what's interesting is Neptune squaring her Mercury and Mars. Elizabeth Warren is about to put her mouth or her foot in her mouth over the next, from now till the election, and ruin things, believe it or not, for herself. And if she gets on the ticket with Hillary, believe it or not, she'll be the next Sarah Palin, believe it or not, based off her mouth that she can't control. And she has been waiting. She's a Cancer too, so she's a very emotionally stirred up. You watch. She's also a Libra rising at 17 degrees, exactly where Pluto is squaring right now. She needs a partnership to do well. She's been waiting for somebody to pull her into her life. She can't do it ever on her own. And that's what makes her so frustrated about life is nobody really takes this woman as serious as maybe, or she doesn't feel that she's ever taken as serious unless she's in the perfect partnership. So she is literally at home hoping that Hillary picks her, hoping somebody picks her for something, hoping that she can have a purpose to be in a partnership. That's what she's dying for. The only weird thing is she needs to watch her mouth because she actually is going to say weirder stuff than Donald Trump, believe it or not, and say things that actually are going to really, I think, hurt her and affect her coming up. Now, Barack Obama just came out and endorsed Hillary Clinton. And we're going to end with this part of the segment. You never know what you're going to get with Obama. One thing is he can become very cool and collected, and then the other minute he loves to dance on Ellen and tell jokes and, smoke pot with rappers, literally. But I think what's so funny about him is right now in the astrology, it's all about all this energy in Gemini. And Gemini right now is ruling the social house for Leo. So for him, he's doing what's socially right. But underneath, what he really wants to do is that conflict. And it's interesting that he just met with Bernie Sanders. I think Obama sits way farther to the left with Bernie Sanders. And I think he's at a very tough road of having to do what is the right thing. And I don't think it makes him too happy. And that's the problem with Obama, is he's somebody who doesn't allow his heart to fully get out there. It's why he can stay so cool, calm, and collected. But I think the secret to Obama and why he is the way he is the one running the nest is his wife. That's right. Michelle Obama's a Capricorn, and you know what? She runs that show, whether you want to know it or not. She's the one who ran the White House. She's the one who runs everything. Capricorn women, especially with the Leo man, they know how to really make the Leo really be steered and do exactly what they want. And so I think he's listening to Michelle here. I think Michelle is the one behind the scenes playing all the pieces, believe it or not. And it's interesting that Biden just came out too, and he's attacking, and he's a Scorpio. He's pissed. I think he really wanted an opportunity, and there's going to be something about Biden that comes up soon enough. He is not going away. He's almost like Johnson when Kennedy, who's been behind the back waiting for time to pounce on something. And I think you're going to notice in the coming months, Biden is going to jump into this race more than ever, and going to be a more major player than you realize and be the pawn for Michelle and Barack Obama. Because Barack Obama, unfortunately, doesn't have the balls to step up and say what he wants. He is only going to do what he's told based off his chart and what he thinks is the best for the people and da-da-da-da-da. He really kind of has a hard time doing it from deep within. Let's see if he can get off the leash from his wife. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on another Astro Buzz here on Hollywood Astrology. I am David Palmer, Leo King, your astrologer of the stars and more, and thank you so much for subscribing to here on the YouTube. If you want to watch more segments and your daily horoscopes, get it on the Leo King app, which is at theleokingapp.com, or you can get it at your iPhone, Apple, or Android Play Store. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Friday on the show.